Let's go to a new segment called Fair or Foul. Fair or foul? The Major League is proposing a minimum of 6 innings or 100 pitches for a started pitcher.
This is so foul.
Do you think so?
You can't ask every pitcher to pitch 6 innings or throw 100 pitches every time. That's not gonna happen. You're taxing the pitchers.
Oh, breaking news.
What
We have
happened?
breaking news.
Here we go again with the plus minus.
And you beat me to it. I was like, oh, shit. We
you
started
have to
thinking
you have to be quick. You have to be quick. In game, real time, it's hard to like make that same thing call 100%. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Saturday Sliders. Today is Saturday, August 17th. I'm Almar and I have Armando next to me, and let's talk baseball.
Let's go with the round the bases with this week's updates and news. Omar, let's start with the big milestone. The judge himself hit his 600, his third 100 career home run. What is your thoughts and what do you think of his career so far with this milestone?
Congratulations to Aaron Judge. Can you imagine if he was not often injured, Armando? And if Judge stays healthy, we will be talking about him in the 600 level home run. All right. I think he'll get there. He'll get close to like 600, 500. He'll get there.
Really? Oh,
Yep.
wow. That's a really interesting thought. Um, well, I'll get to that right now, but I know it's really great, right? So he's one of the face of the league, right? Today he hit his 44 home run. He's on pace to hit 60 plus home runs. So um, it's actually kind of interesting the way the media or baseball heads treat him because in a sense, like they want to bypass the steroid era and like, well, this guy's doing it clean, so he's the home run king, right? Like he hit
Yeah.
63 home runs, so they like that's the new benchmark, right? Because he's clean, he's done it right? But people forget that Mark McGwire hit 67 or 70 home runs by Bond. So like they don't want to acknowledge it, but people want to acknowledge Judge what he has done, right? So no, it's a great. I like tracking uh, home runs trackers for players. So like, so no, this is great. It's been a great career. Um, yeah, so we'll see. But at this point, he has a 87% reaching that milestone of 500 career home runs, and he has a just over a 30% of reaching the 600 mark. What do you think of that percentage?
Like I told you, I think because we're all basing it in health wise, right?
Right,
We
right, right.
that no one can really know what will happen. But in my opinion, I think Judge will be able to reach 500, at least 500. The
Right.
600, yeah, with 30%, like math wise, yeah, 30% is so low. But 500, definitely he can reach that with how well he's hitting lately. Like last year's 60 plus home runs, and now he's on pace to be there as well. So I think
Correct.
500 is easy.
And I think because of the numbers, he is the fastest player to reach to the 300
300.
mark by games played though. He was older. He was 24 years old when he made his pro debut. Uh, 24, that's quite older when you think of well, let me go like it has taken him 955 games to reach to that mark, right? So when you look at Alex Rodriguez, who made his pro career a lot younger than Judge, it took him 1117 games to get to that mark. So 24 is actually quite old to get to the mark, but he's the fastest in games played, right? So let's get to the some of um, some of the numbers where we have here. Mark McGwire made his pro debut at age 22, and he met the 500 club, right? Frank Thomas, he was 22 years old. Rafael Primero was 21 years old. Mike Smith was 22 years old. So you see the comparison. They have a couple 2 years, at least 2 years over Judge, right? So it took him, and Judge Aaron has been in the big leagues for 8 years, um, which is quite a bit, right? But like he was older. Imagine he was 20 years old or 21 years old, right? So he would have been actually a lot closer to this mark. And right now, like I was telling you, the statistics, um, he's age 30, he's 32 years old right now. So age is not on his side, right? We, so it's gonna be close. At this point, he's on pace to hit five 560. Oh, 567. So he's close to the 600 mark. We'll see, but obviously this is all health, right? And he has had some setbacks, like you mentioned. Uh, so that's kind of downplayed. But let's want to show you one more statistic here that Nelson Cruz, he hit from the age of 32 to 37. So Nelson Cruz, David Ortiz, um, they've they have had well, let's say 260 home runs from Nelson Cruz from the age of 33 to 39. So it could be done if he has some productive uh, mid 30s and late 30s if he's still playing, right? So he can have some productive, right? Jim Thome had 208 home runs in that age that age gap, right, in the 30s. So, well, hopefully, I wish him all health so he can get close to the 600 mark. I love seeing it. Um, I grew up watching, like, tracking all those Mike McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Rafael Bonds, right? So like it was a big deal tracking those home runs. So hopefully Ken Griffey, right? So hopefully we get to see it with Aaron Judge.
Yeah, I can see him playing at a top level for about 6 years. So let's say
Yeah.
he hits 30, 35 home runs for those 6 years. He'll definitely get like 200 home runs. So he'll get to 500 definitely. So the 600 is a bit of a reach, but I like I said, we love seeing players reach that mark, right?
And and since this is Saturday Sliders concentrates on the Yankees, so
Yeah, I know.
hopefully we can get to the mark. All right, let's switch our attention to some injuries. Earlier this week, it was announced that Christian Yelich will be having back surgery and having its season-ending surgery. Where does Yelich go from here, and where does it leave the Milwaukee Brewers?
Well, another season-ending injury for Yelich, and so much potential for Yelich, right? And
Mhm.
unfortunately, it comes in the wrong time as Brewers are in the thick of the playoff race. The Brewers must take the top two spot for the playoff bye. This team is still capable of winning, but this is a big blow for to their chances in winning the NL. At least winning the NL, right?
Yeah, I think I have two different answers here. I think from his career point, he's older now. We're talking about players in 30s, right?
Yeah.
So he has had multiple season injuries since having those MVP season. And he has had the same recurring injury. I mean, injuries with his back. Um, so I think it leaves him in a weird situation right now. That he's older. If you're GM, if you're the Brewers, you kind of say like, "Is it time to move on? Maybe we should trade him, right?" Because they have a very young outfield. I think the Milwaukee Brewers are better without him. I think they're gonna miss his leadership, but he's gonna be around well after his surgery, and he can be in the clubhouse. He can be a role model. He can be speaking to those young players, giving some advice, almost like a coach. So I so in that aspect, I think the Milwaukee Brewers are just fine. They keep finding ways to win games. They have the one of the best top three ERA in pitching staff. They have this year they've had 17 different starting pitchers. They have the depth. They have 10 pitchers who actually has closed out games. So they have 10 pitchers with save opportunities. So they have the depth and the pitching. This team are fast. Um, they create situation runs. They have power, so they have the pitching stuff. They have the depth. And they play great defense. Fielding wise, they're one of the best teams in the league. Um, so I think they're actually better. But I think, um, and honestly, it puts Yelich and probably the organization in a weird spot because uh, Churio, my curtain call of the week a couple of weeks ago. He's 20 years old. Um, Let me see. What is the names? Jackson Terrio, Fredlick, and Mitchell are all outfielders under 24 years old. So the stars, I mean, they're franchise players. The core team are there already, and I think it might be time to. I see him probably in a weird situation where he gets less playing time. Um, and probably just like a coach situation. Let's talk about Cheerio, my curtain call player of the week a couple of weeks ago. Please check out that episode. Uh, for the March of April, he hit. He was like, kind of like a platoon giving Yelich time off because you also got to think like he cannot play a full season no more at Yelich. So he was batting 271, month of May 287, month of June 314, July 380, and now this month because of the since the injuries that he hasn't. He is heading for this month so far of 427 in the season. I think with Yelich out of the way, you can have your number one prospect play full time and take the job in a sense.
Yeah, yeah. I will avoid playing in the left field there in the in Milwaukee. Remember Ryan Braun? Now Yelich.
Yeah.
Huh? Forget about left field, man.
Yeah, well, that's where he's playing. Actually, no, he's playing right field. But anyways, I think the Milwaukee's are just fine. But I think it's time to consider. It's going to be a tough situation. What do you do with the Alex net spring?
Yeah.
And so, anyways, let's move on to some different injuries. Um, Jazz Jr. and Tyler Gos Gosling.
Last no.
Glasnow has been placed on the injury 10 days and 15-day IL list. What do you think of the situation? And um, same thing. Should they be concerned, the Dodgers and the Yankees, or they will be fine?
We'll start with Jazz Jr. there. The good news for Yankees and Jazz is that Jazz can still swing the bat. I believe when I was looking at the reports that within a couple of days Jazz will start swinging the bat, but he
Mhm.
might not be able to feel the ball on on the defensive
Yes.
side of the ball. But still, he can still help the Yanks. The only downside with this is that the Yanks already have Stanton as their primary DH. This will weaken the overall Yankees outfield defense if they put Stanton on the field to be able to play Jazz as DH, right?
Right. this is a big blow, and I think when he first got injured, they thought that he was because this is an elbow injury,
Yes.
so they thought they needed surgery to repair. So within 48 hours, it's looking better, but like we'll see when he starts swinging the bat. But this is a big blow. I think this is a big blow. I think the Yankees. Soto and Judge are the power offense, right? The team goes through them. They're gonna go as far as Judge and Soto takes them, right? So and they have a great pitching rotation. They have the depth, but they went after Jazz Jr. because they needed other players around
Okay.
Judge and Soto, right? Because of all other injuries. So now it goes back to like, well, they have to fill them up with um, other either prospects calling up players to fill in that gap, that need, right? So I think from that point of view, it's kind of like, well, they just loses the strength of their team is lessened, like you said, right? So, but hopefully it's not a season-ending injury. But I think the biggest concern right now is from Tyler. Actually, he has had a lot of setbacks in his career in Tampa because of his elbow injuries, and now this is elbow tendonitis, so there's some tightness in there. This is the second time of the season he has hit the IL list. Hope and it's such a bad thing because we're at the end of the season right now, and this is kind of like where injuries linger into the playoffs, and so hopefully it's he hopefully he's bad. Hopefully it's not bad news. And
Yeah,
all my
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. This is a terrible news for the Dodgers and Tyler Glass now, especially in the now tight NL West race. Losing your top end pitcher is a massive blow, like you said, massive blow
Mhm.
for the Dodgers. Yes, they can still out hit every team, but in the
Mhm.
postseason where runs are sometimes hard to come by, you need that pitcher to be able to hold the other team from scoring, right? So, like I said, it's really a massive blow.
So it is a massive, and I think they should be concerned. They are getting help. The Dodgers are getting help. Their Yamamoto is coming. He's been throwing some simulating games, but I think losing Tyler, who was uh, at the early in the season, he was looking like a Cy Young favorite, and now he's just like he's had some setbacks. So hopefully, hopefully it doesn't ruin this year for him because he was pitching great. And but hopefully it doesn't linger into the playoffs. That will suck because I seen pitchers, well, players that they get hurt right before the, like in the last couple of months of the summer, and they just can't, they're not the same, or they're injuries are lingering, and they're trying to pitch or they're trying to bat in the postseason, and they're not the same.
Yeah, and as I mentioned before on our previous episodes, next year Armando don't pick our Cy Young winners. They're either struggling or injured right now.
Oh, so you're saying like we're kind of like we're no difference from any other top media, right?
I know. It's like a Madden curse.
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, so that is it around the bases for this week's latest updates. If you like this channel, please subscribe, like, and follow. It will help our channel grow. Thank you. Let's go to a new segment called Fair or Foul. Omar, fair or foul? The Major League is proposing a minimum of 6 innings or 100 pitches for a started pitcher.
This is so foul.
Do you think so?
They keep changing because we've been saying this throughout our season here in Saturday Sliders that pitchers are the minimum pitches they have shown is like 80. Maybe they pitch like 5 and 2/3. That's that's the new norm now. I
Yeah.
believe I believe I believe the MLB is like stop it. We should have starters pitching minimum 6 innings of baseball, but you can't ask every pitcher to pitch 6 innings or throw 100 pitches every time. That's not gonna happen. You're taxing the pitchers because if you ask them to pitch that amount of innings every time, then you'll hold the every team back too. So I'm not sure what's your opinion on it, Armando, but I'm calling it foul.
I am going fair. I am also an old head, baseball old head here. I grew up with starting pitchers, went seventh to eighth innings, and that was a dominant. Even if you were allowed 5 runs, like I remember seeing Randall Johnson, he would go into the eighth inning and he would allow 5, 6 runs. But if you were a starting pitcher, like you went the distance, and that was kind of like I like that old mindset of starting pitchers. Like I'm going to dominate. It's me against 9 batters. And so I like the old school. Of course, when you hear other baseball heads like older than me, like they grew up with starting pitchers going the whole game,
Correct.
right? To the eighth innings, ninth innings, that was a dominant pitcher. None of this. So to me, we talk about injuries. Like, well, more pitchers are getting injured because they're not throwing us the innings or the pitch count the way they used to, right? So uh, I think in the 90s or even 80s, late 80s, starting pitchers were throwing like 100 and 130, 150 pitches a game. So that was the norm. So I think there's something wrong when managers are they're 2/3, 3 innings and 1/3 bases loaded. And like, oh, I gotta get my starting pitcher out there. They're so concerned about losing a game than just allowing 1 run to score and by continue the starting pitcher to pitch another 2 more innings. So I'm calling this fair. Um, the the pitch count, I don't like that. So because sometimes you can have um, obviously, but if someone's injured, yes, like get them out. But I think minimum 6 innings, I love it. Let's not forget that Greg Maddox once threw a complete game's 9 innings in 75 pitches. So,
Correct.
so,
It
so
can be
like
done, right? It can
it
be
can be
done.
done. So I'm calling this fair.
Okay.
Uh, okay, with the fair foul, Omar. Fair foul that the umpires are not using the technology the way it's meant to be. For example, this week, Springer got hit by the pitch, and it was not reviewed or it was not overturned. What do you think of this? Fair or foul?
Yeah, baseball is way behind on schedule with this video review.
Yes.
It's far in between with the reviews. It's obvious that the ball changes directions. When his Springer got hit on his, I think it's the plant foot. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on it, but it's obvious that the ball moved and Springer got hit. And we've seen this with a lot of video reviews. I'm not sure how they do it in baseball right now, but I'm calling this one foul because they need to get better, especially in the playoffs. You can't have this kind of calls. That's why you have video reviews to get these calls correct, especially in the playoffs.
I agree with you. I'm calling this foul. Why are you gonna have this technology ability and have a control room in New York looking at this if you can't even challenge some calls? Not everything is reviewable, and it's like, what's the point of having it then, right? Like
Correct.
only home runs are like when you hit a home run you can challenge, but like you can't really challenge a foul ball. Like it was like, well, what's the point then unless it's called a home run, right? So um, there's also been a couple games where from the Giants this season where they got hit by a pitch but the home umpire called her, no, it didn't hit you. But you can see the review on the like on the TV review, game review. It's hitting the jersey. Yeah, it didn't hit it, but hitting the jersey, it's still that is considered a hit. But you
Hit
can't
by pitch,
challenge it.
yeah.
Yeah. So what's the point of having this technology, right? And now I think also if you're gonna have this technology, you have to take it to the full advantages of it, because like this couple things. Oh, we can only review this, but we can't review that. It's like, well, I think if you're giving each team one call per game, I think they should be able to challenge anything that they would like to, including the strike zone. That bugs me because there's been some really the ghost of Aaron Hernandez is somewhere around here. I mean, not Aaron Hernandez, different player, different Hernandez.
Angel Hernandez, the
Angel
greatest umpire
Hernandez.
ever.
Yes. Um, there's been some awful calls, and you just can't. Why can't you challenge that, right? So I think it's foul. I think you like, yeah. If you're gonna have technology, use it to the fullness in a sense. So
Yeah, because they I when there's challenges, they're looking at the jumbotron. How come
yeah, the outfielders are sitting
you're
there,
looking at
infielders are
everyone?
looking, and
That one I just don't get.
everybody's crossing their arms and just everybody's just looking at the jumbotron, right? That is 100%. It's so funny to see that, right? So, but I just yeah, it's foul. I think, and also like some rules, especially with all the new rules that they have put in place, even with technology, some of them are not even in the playoffs. It's like, well, you can't have a different set of rules when the playoffs
Yeah.
comes around, and then it's kind of like, right? So it's kind of like, I was like, I think it should be fair. I think it should be the same for playoffs and regular season.
Yeah.
And so right, so all right, for our last question, not sure if you saw this week, player hit his first career. Mitchell Harris hit his first career grand slam, and he wanted the ball back to keep the his achievement, but the fan did not want to give it back to him, and now he received a lot of uh, just a lot of criticism that the fan should have give the ball back to the player. Fair or foul? Um, should base fans, paying customers watching entertainment, should they give the ball back or a souvenir back to the player?
Are you calling it? Is it fair or foul if if the fans need to give the ball back to whoever hits the home run? I'm calling this one foul. If as a kid, Armando, when you go to the ballpark, you bring your glove and hopefully catch a ball. It gives us happiness when we do catch a ball in the ballpark. No matter if it's a home run or a foul ball, you will cherish that ball. And when it comes to milestone home run or first big league home run, it's a fair game. What will Michael Harris give this fan in return? A signed bat, a signed ball? Yes, those are great, but fans should not feel forced to barter for it.
Yeah,
Remember how little in return the fan who caught Shohei Otani's home run got.
yeah.
Was it fair? Absolutely not. So yeah, not giving the ball back is fair, so I'm calling this one foul.
I agree with you. I think this is foul, and I don't think no fan should be criticized for catching a ball, right? So either from Harris or from the baseball medium or other fans who are going to give it back, right? So it's like, I think it's foul. I just think like, no, like you go there to when I go to a baseball game, I'm always hope I bring my glove. I want to catch a ball.
Yeah.
I either foul ball, home run. Like I'm always I've been a couple close. Of all the games that I've been, it's like it's been section
All you've
diving for
been
the ball.
all you've been catching are hot dogs.
Yeah. I think yeah, I think it's kind of it's just foul. I just think like to me, I don't know. There was no reports on what he was trying to give a bat or there was no reports what was being offered. But I think it's kind of like, oh, I'm getting my uh, getting the ball back. You know, it's my first career Grand Slam. But I think it's also players. Also, some players they don't get to get if the Hall of Fame wants something from a player, they take it away right away. So I think there's also some stereotypes that from players are like, no, I want to keep something because other things are being taken away from the major league, right? So Blake Snell's after his first from his no a couple of weeks ago, the major league they took his cleats away. So it's kind of like whoa, like they just like that's the first thing they took away was like his cleats because they want to put it in the Hall of Fame, right? So it's kind of like, well, that's cool, but like sometimes players don't even have the option what they want to keep, right? Because they're
Yeah.
being taken away. But I think from a fan perspective, I was like, no, if you want this ball ball back, you're gonna have to buy it in auction because I'm gonna put it in auction.
Go to eBay, right?
And I think this people are comparing it to Mark McGwire when he hit the 63 home run and the fan gave it back to Mark McGwire. Yeah, it's touching, but his comments are saying the fan who caught it made comments like, "Well, I I didn't do the work. Mark McGwire did all the work. He hit all the home runs, so he deserves it back, right?" But to me, it's kind of like, but he got nothing in return, right? So I don't know if what Mark McGwire gave him, but I just think it's like no. I think if you wanted that ball, you could have Mark McGwire could have paid a ransom
Yeah.
for the ball. That's my opinion, right? So it's kind of like what football a couple seasons ago when Mike Evans caught the touchdown from Tom Brady, and one of his records that he broke. He threw the ball into the stands, and the fan gave the ball back, and I think it was a signed jersey or something like that. And Tony Roman on the air said like, "Well, that he just did a complete mistake. I would have been asking for season tickets or or a
I would have
box
been
suite."
I would have been asking for one of those Super Bowl rings.
Exactly. Especially, it's like to me, it's like I'll catch the ball. You can be like everybody else and pay an auction for it. Pay the price.
Yeah.
Well, that is it for this segment called Fair or Foul. Let's get into our Giants and Blue Jays updates. For your Giants updates for this week, um, there's it's still the same old thing. The same thing is hunting them all season long. They're just inconsistency. One week they're playing great, and the other week they're just awful. They have lost 5 out of 6 games. They lost one game to the last game to the Detroit. They got three. They lost 3 out of 4 against the Atlanta Braves, which the slumping Braves at that time. But they just needed to play the Giants to get back in track, right? So and they lost today to the A's. So yeah, they have looked awful. They just have looked very awful this week. So yeah, so it's kind of like it's fool's gold. Like they fooled us. This team fools us like they play hot, they hit home runs, and then the following week they're just ice cold, and it is very frustrating to watch. Um, so that's one thing from the update. The and the second thing kind of goes into it because I think everybody wants to blame somebody, and right now, rightfully so, Farhan is the one to blame. And right now, I want to ask you a question: should the Giants try to uh, sign Chapman and Blake Snell to a long-term deal before the season ends, because right now everyone is just saying they're gonna opt out and they're gonna go to a different team. And the Giants didn't trade them at the trade deadline, which Farhan should have done, because this team, the fact that he said that this is a top five pitcher rotation, it's a joke. Um, and right now, Blake Snell is going to be like other players, Kevin Gausman, Carlos Rodon, um, multiple other pitchers who are just walked away and they didn't get anything in return. So right now, what do you think? Should they try to sign them? So those long-term contracts that they were looking during the offseason.
Yeah, good question there, Armando. I saw this I think on X on your one of your news report there that Blake Snell might walk after
Yeah,
the season because they, like you said, they have opt outs. I will let Chapman walk. You can replace him. I know he's platinum gold glove third baseman. He can hit for power, but you can replace that. The Jays were able to replace that this year. You cannot replace a Blake Snell, a top and ace type of pitcher, and you need that front end rotation solid. So next year and the next years after that, you'll be able to still contend for the NL West and more, right?
right. That's um that's a good point right there. um, I have enjoyed watching Blake Chapman to play. It seems like he has a highlight reel on every game. It's amazing, right? So, and um, he has had a, I think he hit the 20 home run mark. So it's good for him because he has had a couple of down years, and his last couple of years in Toronto, they were kind of down, but he's the leader of this team, and it will suck if he walks away as well, right? So, but I think it will hurt more because we have seen multiple pitchers in the last, and I guess in Fahrenheit's tenure there with the Giants, he can't sign the big fish. He lets players walk, and he just around the trade deadline, he just kind of seems to keep players that he shouldn't, aging players that he shouldn't keep, or he gets rid of a young talent. So I just think, or he does, well, the worst is nothing, right? Like this year, like it was kind of like they didn't do anything, which is kind of like Blake Snell is going to opt out, no question, unless you give him that contract that he was looking for, 7 years, 300 or
Yeah,
280.
yeah. I think he was looking at 2.7 and 2.10,
Yeah,
right?
so I think you have to, if you can, go ahead. But I just think there's no question he's going to opt out. His last seven starts, or he has like a point 44 ERA. It's incredible. Like it's so he's going to opt out, but it's going to be painful to see him walk out from nothing, right? Um, so that's where Giants are medias are concentrating, like what the Blake Snell's watch, right? And we still have like a month and a half of baseball still, or 2 months, and it's kind of like we already know it, but this it was painful. Actually, the Harris Jr. Grand Slam that came against the Giants. So when he hit the Grand Slam, I just turned off the TV and I was like, because it was still in the six in the bottom of the no top of the first when you get the Grand Slam. So I was like, no, I've had enough already after the first inning. And they lost big. I think they lost like 11 or 12 to 2. It was like ridiculous, and it was just painful. Yeah. So, and I think the last update that I want to give is this is the last time the Giants will be facing the Oakland A's. Or we don't know if they're going to change the names. It hasn't still been announced. Everybody's like, why wouldn't you change the name if you're moving to Las Vegas? Maybe there will still be the Sacramento A's or the California A's, whatever they want to say. But this is the last Bay Area series, and there's a lot of mixed emotions. A lot of people are thinking about all the memories, and a lot of media are just mad that this is happening. But we have, yeah, this is the last Bay Area. This is the last time the Bay Area series, and it didn't mean much to the players this series, but for the fans, it actually has meant a lot, especially when the Giants lost to the World Series in '89. They It was kind of like a bragging right in the Bay Area. Like A's fans had that, and every time they played, and obviously you heard me talk a lot about the growing up in the Bay and always going to the A's and Giants games. That was my late teens and early 20s. I always went to the games. I never missed it, and it's just sad to see that happening. And this is for real now. Like, right, like there's been a lot of rumors, but it's happening. This team is moving at the end of the season, and now Oakland has no sports. After this season, they will have no sports team. Every team, the Raiders left, the Warriors left, and now the A's are leaving. So it's a sad. So today, actually, the highest attendance for the A's because they're playing in Oakland, 37,000. So, but that stadium is massive. It looks so empty, and it's so sad because when I was younger, going to the games, I've been to a lot of 55, 60,000 attendance, and it was packed. It was packed, and it's sad to see that because they average, I think, like under 7,000 during other series, right? So yeah, so no more Bay Area series, and it looks like the Oakland A's have won this year because they actually, I think they have beat us all games against the A's. We have lost to them, so
Yeah,
public snails goes tomorrow.
it's for real now, right? It's
Yeah,
for
it is
real
for
now. They're
real. Yeah,
moving. Yeah, it's gonna hit soon. It's gonna hit
yeah,
soon
it
for
is hitting.
everyone.
Yeah, yeah. It is. It is hidden, right? Because everybody's been talking this week. They were talking about the memories, looking forward to the series. Even Billy Bean, he still works for the A's, so he can't really. But behind closed doors, some people who are close to him said that he is quite upset that this has happened. But he can't say too much because he still works for the front office. Um, but yeah, this is and of course everybody kind of talks who really killed the Oakland A's. And you can talk about the new owner, to talk about the mayor of Oakland. And that a lot of at this point that a lot of people are pointing out the Giants. And we can talk about it some other time, but the Giants are the number one baseball team in Northern California. It's always been. Um, yeah, so it's kind of like when you're in the shadows of the Giants, especially when the championship runs, and no one's really like literally won Oakland. You don't see fans attending, and then literally cross over. You see this massive, beautiful stadium, downtown San Francisco, sunny and packed house. People are having fun, and it's just like so. Like the real true story is that they're moving away because they don't want to be in the shadows of another team, and that's why it has worked for Oakland. I mean for the Raiders because they're not in shadows of the 49ers no more, and they're getting all the attention in Las Vegas as the only professional team in Nevada. So I think at this point, like, everybody's trying to blame somebody, and I think right now, the marketing from the Giants, they're the ones to blame. But yeah, that's just like. But anyways, it is a sad story. Yeah, this week I've been thinking about like all the games that I went to from the Giants. So I remember seeing Cito, Mark Mulder, Tim Hunson, or Eric Chavez, and all these young A's. So it's sad to see that happening. So, but anyways, that is all for my Giants update.
Yeah, don't cry too much, Armando. Yeah, we'll be able to we'll still be able to watch them in Nevada, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
still the same team, just different states, right?
That's exactly. We'll see if they're still the A's, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big number one question.
I was just looking at it. I was like I was hoping they can name them Oakland Aces, but there's Vegas Aces, but
Oh man, that would have
there's a
been
Las Vegas
great. The
Aces
Aces, yeah.
for
The women's basketball, yeah. That
yeah,
would have been
so
awesome. The
I
Aces.
know, yeah, the Ace, right? So yeah, it's just a dream now.
Yeah, so we'll see. But anyways, that's yeah. So that's I don't even know this. It's pretty sad, but at the same time, watching this team is pretty sad too. And I haven't even looked at the standings overall in a whole week, so it's kind of like there's no point trying to. I wish they would just kind of be out of contention, to be honest with you, so they don't get my hopes up when they.
They're playing with your emotions, right?
It's this too is just playing with my emotions, right? Anyways, yes.
All right, all right. For your Blue Jays update, Blue Jays started their road trip hot as they swept the three-game set against the Halos in SoCal, but the Jays cannot ride that momentum when they got to the north side of Chicago, as the Jays fell in the extras last Friday and then lost today 3-2 against the Cubbies. For the good news, some of the called up young prospects such as Leo Jimenez and Will Wagner is showing some brilliance out there. For Will Wagner, son of former closer Billy Wagner,
Hmm.
is hitting 7 for 12 for an average of 533 and an OPS of 1.296 with 3 RBIs. This kid is making it look so easy out there, and
Right.
hopefully it continues for this kid.
That's exciting. It's exciting when you see a top prospect come up and have success, right? So that's awesome. That's always great to see that.
Yeah, that's all I can say for the Blue Jays because we're out of contention. So,
I
well,
do have to say that the Giants media have started talking about Blatt because they realize, oh, we're gonna have to give up the whole farm system together. So I'm
maybe
glad that
maybe,
gonna stop.
maybe you can give out the old clan ace, right?
Yeah, I think with the attention has started again. Soto watch.
Mm.
So, but I
I heard
don't.
that too. I heard that too. I heard that too.
Yeah. So I just at this point, we already talking about net season. Giants fan. I think the Soto watch is it's looming, but I don't see him leaving New York, in my opinion.
Mm.
And so, oh, did you hear that? National media that the Mets are already saying like the Mets media like are already calling that he will be a Met already. They're saying like no, like Soto will be a Met, and it doesn't matter who's playing. And they're saying like we need to let go of Alfonso.
Alonso, Pete Alonso.
Alonso, yeah, yeah. They're saying like it's there's no point. He's older. There's no he's like his last year contract, and they're already saying like we cannot resign him, or we should not even consider even bringing him back because we need all the money to get Soto, and some like people are at right field like they're screaming it doesn't matter if he makes a bad play because Soto will be there playing next season.
What water are they? What water are they drinking there in the
Yes,
metropolitan, right?
they're already in their mind that it was crazy because it's kind of like, whoa, you already, wow, it's gonna be hard. Well, we'll see. We'll see if
I
they
like what
can.
they're.
But there, this is why the Mets fans always get hurt. Their feelings get hurt because their ownership always, or even New York team, like it's kind of like the ownership will always let you down. And when the heartbreak happens, it's like, well, you do it to yourself.
I I like me somewhat of they're using right now there in Metropolitan. It feels so good there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyways, I thought it was kind of funny that they already pencil him. They're already signing up to buy the jersey, and it's kind of like, well, so far he's playing in New York, and so. But yeah, we've been there with when Judge. What
Yeah,
was it?
I know it's painful. I know it's painful. We were there with Shohei this year.
Yeah, it's painful, right? It is definitely painful uh, when it does you don't sign the player that you were hoping for. But yeah, by all means, go ahead. And then he signs with the Marlins for $1 billion.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, that is it for another episode of Saturday Sliders. Until next time.
See you next week.
See you